Okay. Okay, guys. So welcome everyone. It's good to see you all. And before we start, I just want to say that this webinar has been organized by the Weekly Fasting Group. It is a very big international group of individuals who cultivate the habit of fasting, abstaining from food for 24 hours every week between Friday and Saturday. And in addition to that, we discuss different spiritual subjects, healing subjects, etc. So if you're into fasting and if this idea appeals to you, to fast on a consistent basis once a week for 24 hours at least, there are also people who extend it. You will find my phone number below this video. My name is Arik, and I will happily add you. You just have to send me a WhatsApp message with your name. And today we have Micah, who is coming to us from Manchester. And we will learn a lot of things today about upgrading our lives, uplifting ourselves, many other things. So I really looking forward to hearing all this information. And so hello, Micah.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here. And yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, and we will start with a short guided meditation just to ground ourselves, to balance ourselves, and Mika will lead it. So, Mika, over to you.
So I invite you all to close down your eyes and take a breath, filling your abdomen with air. Exhale, let go of any tension in your body. Inhaling, filling your body with light from the universe around you. Inhale. And exhale again, allowing any density to leave your body now, knowing that for the next hour or so, you are now dedicating yourself to your healing journey. As you breathe, feeling the rhythmic nature of your breath cycle, grounding you to the present moment. And as you breathe and you receive the breath, allow the information that comes through me today to be received. And know that whatever doesn't align with you is pointing you towards your own truth. Just breathe into your heart space, allowing yourself to receive any emotions, any energy that you receive during this webinar. And I'd like you to visualize there are roots coming out of your feet, down your legs, stretching deep into the core of Mother Nature, through the layers of rocks and crystals until it reaches the core, the womb of Mother Nature, the heartbeat of the earth. And as you breathe, begin to feel more grounded to earth, to the being beneath us that provides for us. And feel the gratitude in your body, knowing that you are held by the earth, that all your clothes, all your objects, the food, the revitalizing food and water that we eat and drink and use have all been gifted to us from Earth, who is here to hold us. And take a deep breath, feeling the frequency of gratitude in every layer, level, and dimension of your body. Exhaling, feeling the gratitude of your breath. And also feeling gratitude for yourself, for devoting yourself to healing, to wholeness, and to journeying back to your truth, to love, and to light. Breathing in gratitude for yourself and the decisions you make to hold yourself. And breathe now, allowing your breath to invite you back into your body, becoming aware of the shapes around you, the sounds around you. Gently beginning to move your hands, move your feet, coming back into your body. And then taking your time without any rush, gently begin to open your eyes and return to this now moment, feeling the shift and vibration in your body.
Okay, guys. Wow, that was wonderful. Thank you so much, Mika.
No worries. So I'm going to share my screen. I can do that, can't I?
Yeah. I will just allow you to do that. Just a moment. Share the screen. Yes, Mika. So now you can do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to tell you guys that I'm really excited to talk about the subject of raising frequency and all the things that surround that, because I think it is super important, because a lot of people who live this fasting lifestyle, we often find ourselves during fasting and also in life, with different ups and downs. And it's also important, especially on this lifestyle, to learn those tools, to know how to uplift yourself in order not to, let's say, not to run to food all the time in order to uplift ourselves, but to have those inner resources to do that. So each piece of information about that is super, super valuable. So I'm really, really excited to have you here today and learn more about that from your experience.
Amazing. I'm so excited to share. So I'm going to share my screen now. And I've created a presentation.
Amazing.
Okay, present. So as we've called this presentation, it's the secrets of keeping a high vibration and the path of radical self-love. And I'm going to be speaking about these topics below: fasting, Shivambu or urine therapy, manifestation, channeling, and also other techniques that I use and have used to move through the darkness that can come up when we are on the path of love. Because the more we move back to our original state, the more we have to confront the parts of us that haven't been aligned with our original state and shine a light on that as well. So I speak a lot in my work about shadow work, and I actually just did a live video with John DePass, who I actually discovered through this group. And John is such an inspiration. He's such a beautiful being. And we spoke a lot about shadow work and how when you do that work with the dense aspects of yourselves, you can truly show up for the world with the joy and love that we want to bring. And those hours spent in the darkness sitting with the density are what allow me to show up with so much joy. And it's a very brave path. So to everyone here, honor the path that you're on and that you're walking, because it's not an easy path, but it's so rewarding, and you probably can tell the rewarding aspects of it. So I'm going to speak to begin with about my journey from self-abuse to self-love. And on the left is a picture of me when I was 15, and I was in a deeply traumatized state and treating my body with no respect at all. And then 2021, and I am actually just glowing, and I feel it in my body. I feel in my body and in the way I interact with people that I am bringing light to the world. And I felt a bit weird about putting these pictures up, because I felt guilty for putting myself up in 2015 and saying, oh, this is what I was like. But I realized this is my truth and this is my journey. And for people to relate to our journeys, we need to go into the parts of us that we weren't proud of, because we're all human. And I didn't just show up feeling great every day. And in 2015, so I grew up in a very unstable environment. My family life was very chaotic and anxiety inducing, and I didn't feel safe a lot of the time or listened to. And so I turned to food as a way of coping with my issues. I couldn't control my external environment because it was happening because of my parents. So, as a way of dealing with that and dealing with the anger that I had towards them, I inflicted all of that abuse towards myself. So, I was in cycles of overeating, starvation, and purging up my food for about 9 years. And it's a cycle as well that I got out of, but I can sometimes slip back into emotional eating, and I'm very aware of it now. And the language that I use when I'm in those states of emotionally eating are so different. And I'm going to speak about that on the next slide, because I truly believe it's how we eat, not what we eat, that affects our vibrations. Or what we eat is also a major contributor. But if we're eating with the energy of, I'm abusing my body, this is really bad for me, we make it 10 times worse than if you eat and experience the pleasure of that food, even if it's not the highest vibration of food. So on the next slide, I actually say, so yeah, 2015, I was deeply insecure for many years. I could not see that I was beautiful, that I was anything positive. And in that way, in that insecure state, I was overeating constantly. And this began at the age of about 12 or 11. As a child, I wasn't very drawn to food. I was naturally someone who couldn't consume a lot. And I felt my mother actually, I felt guilty not being able to eat loads. I feel like there was some guilt that I was given for being someone who underate. And I was told by the doctor as well that I was underweight when I was 12. But I also think that that scale of being underweight or overweight is not necessarily true, because I don't understand what the average is, but everybody is different. And in Ayurveda, which is the natural science of life in India, they say that all of our bodies are their own universe. And so, unlike with Western medicine, where you're told we have a standard for everyone, Ayurveda says we need to treat each individual body as its own universe with its own needs and its own laws. And that truly empowers your health, because then you are able to inquire, well, what does my body need? Not what drug can we all take so that we can numb this pain that is so varied in every person, but what does my body need? And so I was also very disconnected from my femininity. I felt like I actually didn't belong in my body. I would get high and I would get these fears that I was meant to be in a man's body. And I'm a trance channeler, and I read the Akashic records, and I know that I've had many lifetimes as a man, but I would get terrified that I wasn't meant to be in this body. And very shameful as well. I didn't share for many years. This is the beginning of me sharing this abusive relationship I had with food. I was very shameful because I had a disordered eating pattern, but it wasn't obvious. I wasn't incredibly skinny or incredibly overweight. And so I was shameful of how I was eating, and again, highly anxious, dealing with my anxiety through food, through the sugar and fast food. And I would just sit and eat and eat and eat until I was so overly full that I couldn't really do anything. And I would just sit and hold my stomach and look at how far out my bloat had gone and just hate myself, really just be in this abusive relationship with myself. And then I'd wake up the next day and I'd do it again. And not only was I overeating, I was also doing loads of exercise. And I was a competitive swimmer for many years. So I would either overeat and exercise loads, or I would undereat, so go into starvation modes where I was counting my calories, trying to get it to 500 calories a day and this much exercise so that I could lose this much weight. And this was going on for years and years and years, where I felt trapped. My world was like this, and I was constantly tired and completely out of sorts, out of connection with the universe. I was meditating for many years, but I had no real connection to love, because I had no love for myself. The abuse I was connecting myself to meant that I almost felt like I deserved that. And And that was because, again, I was responding to external circumstances that I couldn't control. So my way of providing myself with safety was super control with my body. And John actually says that a very easy way to regulate your emotions is through food. It's very easy to eat and to regulate. So I was eating and controlling, and it was horrible, and it went on for so many years. And I've spent a lot of time sitting with my inner child and just crying and hugging her and really acknowledging the pain that she went through so that I could get to where I am now. And before I talk about now, how we eat determines whether our life will become one of ease or dis-ease. And so when I say how we eat, I really want to emphasize that the energy that we eat with is so important. And in our Western modern lifestyle, you see everywhere adverts for how we can make food faster. I live in the UK, and we have a shop called Tesco's, which is a supermarket. And I remember seeing an advert for fast meals in the microwave. And it said something like, we are faster, or it was talking about how we do it for you so you don't have to be. So it was something about how you can get on with your busy life, and we'll put your meal in the microwave and you're sorted. And when we get into that mindset that food is just functional and it's just fuel, then we can continue living in this very fast-paced, again, self-abusive lifestyle, and not take into consideration the sacredness of food. And food to me, is now a ritual and a ceremony. And I think that bringing that ritual aspect into the way that we eat changes how the food is actually digested. Because if we eat and we're eating it standing up, we're on the go, or we're eating it and we're going, I'm overeating, and I know this isn't the right food for me, but I have to eat it and whatever, then we're eating that energy as well. And the energetic intention when we eat is drastically going to change whether we live with ease, with peace in our hearts, or dis-ease. And it's funny when you take apart the word disease, and it's just not being at ease. In somewhere in our physiology and our psychology, emotional, mental, or spiritual, we're not at ease within ourselves. And for so many people in abusive relationships with their bodies and with food, when you consume, you are putting dis-ease into your body. And again, in Ayurveda, they say that all of your ailments begin in your digestive tract. So if you have blockages in your digestive tract, if you're not eating the right ways for you, you are going to cause issues in the rest of your body. So if you want to heal, you start with, how am I eating? And in Ayurveda as well, they promote the fasting lifestyle and Shivambu, urine therapy, because these are ancient practices that have shown to work to help people to live in this natural lifestyle with ease and with love. And so now where I'm at is we're in 2022, but this picture was taken in 2021. And all of these things I've written down, and I truly feel this is my reality. I feel myself in so much light and love. I get up in the morning, and even if I wake up with some more anxiety, I always wake up with a mindset of, I want to experience the world. I'm excited for my life. I'm excited for my projects. And I know that my purpose, no matter what it is that I'm trying to bring it in, whether it's through a webinar, through a conversation, is I'm trying and aiming to bring light and love and joy to the world. And I know that I wake up with this high energy because I'm doing the work to clear what was dense within me. And another thing is I'm very tuned into my body, which I'm going to go into in this webinar, because of the practices that I do, because of the fasting and exercise and deep listening to my body. I am in a deep state of listening to my body, as opposed to ignoring the signs that my body is showing me at every moment to become more light. And if you think about our subconscious minds controlling our body's systems at all times, fighting off diseases, digesting our bodies, sweating so we don't overheat, our subconscious minds are connected to a universal intelligence that is directing us towards wholeness. And so when we listen to our bodies, when we actually give our bodies a chance to speak to us, and we're not constantly consuming or abusing our bodies, but we're lovingly sitting down and going, what would you like to tell me? You receive messages of such wisdom because our bodies are this wise. And again, so another thing I've said here is I am at my ideal weight. So when I stopped bothering about weight or calories or even nutrition, I don't look at micronutrients or macronutrients or anything like that. My body weight is the best it's ever been. I look at myself and I am like, I am exactly how I want to look. And it's not, and it's been like this for about a year now, and my body's changed a lot in the past year. But when I stopped looking at my body as the physical vessel that it is the flesh, and started to feel, do I feel good inside my body? Am I happy? I began to see that reflection in the mirror, and my body's still changing. And so I'm now at my ideal weight, and I truly believe this is down to these practices. And as well, I see my inner beauty and my outer beauty, and I look back at the pictures of myself when I was 15 and I go, wow, I was so beautiful, and I did not know or see it at all, and I couldn't see my inner light. And I truly will say that this is down to the practices that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. And fasting is really a major key for all of this to come through for me, for this self-love to come through. And so fasting, shadow work, freedom, and self-love. And I believe that these words all come behind the fasting for me. Fasting is not the physical act of restricting food at all. It is such a spiritual, deeply it's a deep form of self-discovery. And so I began intermittent fasting maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And I started it because my friend said that it gives him more energy. And I think because as a teenager, I was so tired all the time. That's the way I would describe my teenage years, as I was tired, probably because of the way I related to my body. I was taking drugs and drinking alcohol from a very young age, and I was eating very low vibrational foods with no consciousness about what I was putting inside of me. So I was tired all the time. So anything that is going to increase my energy, it always lights me up. So I started intermittent fasting, and then a year ago, or no, maybe, yeah, about 16 months ago, a year and a half ago, I began doing maybe it was 2 years ago now. Anyways, I began doing 24-hour fasts every week. And this was so dense for me in the beginning, because if you fasted before, you know that when you sit down and you let your body become empty, you can't run away from your emotions. And with food, if you're feeling a low vibrational state, you can distract yourself. And that doesn't mean the food isn't always distracting, but unfortunately for many of us, we do use food as a distraction from what we are feeling. Because as John said, it's a way for us to regulate our emotions. When we eat food, especially food that is bad for us, like sweets and stuff like that, endorphins go off in our head, and it's a quick fix, it's a solution. It can act like a drug. And I would say that food addiction is a thing, and it is a way of dealing with emptiness or something that is paining us inside. And when you fast, you have to sit with that density and that pain that food has been covering up. So when I began fasting 24 hours, that's really when I began to confront my shadow. And I was peeling back layers of really low vibrational energy, fear of being judged, fear of, it was a lot of fear actually. That was really the energy I was working with releasing, was a lot of fear. And you cannot avoid it when you're fasting. But because I was also in the fasted state, it allowed me to connect to my body and my trauma with more, what's the word? The word is attention. It was like I had the full attention on my trauma all of a sudden. It was like a child that I've been ignoring. It's like the child wants to speak to you, but like, sorry, I'm busy. I'm eating, mummy's eating. I'm not going to speak to you right now. But you're doing it your entire life. You're always eating, and you're never confronting the trauma that wants to be sat with. And then when I sat down and I was empty and the trauma came up, I was really there to go, hey, I'm here to listen now. Oh, this is really painful. I'm so sorry that I didn't listen to you. And I was cultivating that relationship with my trauma because I wasn't avoiding the trauma anymore. And like any energy in the world, the trauma doesn't want to be avoided. It wants to be heard and seen and understood so that we can become more whole. It wants the shadow wants the light to be shone on it so that we, on our healing journey, going back into more light and love and wholeness, we can invite that trauma in with us, and we can realize that that trauma was a part of the lessons we had to learn to enter the light. And again, as well, with freedom, you realize it's okay to be hungry. And for so many years in my life, and I know this is also a thing with loads of mothers, they get afraid, oh, but what if you get hungry? What if you're hungry? That's, you can't be hungry. And that makes us dependent on food. So people eat all day long because they're afraid of going hungry. But actually, when you fast and you realize that it's safe to be hungry, and if anything, actually, sometimes it's nice to not eat because you have more creative energy flowing through you and more energy flowing through you when you break through the cycles of needing food for energy. You realize that it's okay to be hungry, and that gives you freedom. You can go out into the forest, into nature. You don't take any food. Sometimes you don't even need to take any water if you're dry fasting, and you know that it's okay, and you have that trust in your body, and that deep space of trust within your body as well. It leads you into a state of more wholeness, which I believe is a state of love, trusting that you're going to be okay no matter what, and your body is a self-healing, self-regulating vessel that actually needs nothing external to heal. And so more on fasting, manifestation, and becoming a clear channel. I'm going to move that. I'm actually just going to, yes. So when we fast with positive intentions, our bodies heal and we raise our vibration. So I'm not saying, there's actually studies that have been done on people who starve themselves from a place of abuse and people who fast from a place of self-healing and love. And the results on their bodies are actually different. So when you're fasting because you want to connect with yourself and you want to heal your body, the body will heal. And it's fascinating that when you stop eating and when you stop consuming and you're doing it consciously from a place of wanting to heal your body starts healing. And you may have heard of the term autophagy, which is where the cells within your body, so after 3 days, or I think it's 72 hours on a fast, your body goes through the state of ketosis, which is where you're burning fat instead of sugar, into autophagy, where the dead cells, the mutating cells that could become cancerous, begin to get killed by, I think it's the white blood cells, but I'm not too sure, but killed by the cells that go in and clean up. So your body is getting detoxed from the inside out on a 72-hour fast or longer. And so how incredible is that? When you stop consuming and you allow your body to heal, it will clear out your system. It's amazing that our bodies are these healing vessels. You don't need anything external to remove cancerous cells from your body, or bodies that will become the cells that become mutating and cancerous. So fasting is the fast track for your healing. And again, our bodies are not built for constant consumption. Like everything, we need a rest. And when you allow your body to rest once a week, once a month, for a longer period or a shorter period, you allow your body to heal itself, because our bodies are naturally self-regulating and self-healing in the same way that our subconscious mind clears the body of disease and of viruses. Our bodies will heal when we stop bombarding our bodies with food constantly. Because when you do that, as well with our digestive system takes up a lot of energy. And when we allow that to rest just for a short time, even just intermittent fasting, you are allowing yourself to release disease and release the constant need for stimulation. And in our society as well, we're not only constantly bombarded with the consumption for food, but also through stimulation online. And it's not natural for us to be so overly stimulated. And what you find with a human is when you get bored, when you're not eating, and when you don't have the stimulation on the outside, we allow our creativity to become a channel. Our creativity is channeled through us with more ease. And so I'm saying here, Our bodies are a way for source or divine intelligence to communicate with us. So I believe that our creative energy is divine as well. When we allow the flow of life to move through us and our creative energy to move through us, a lot of the time we become these channels for the creative energy. And you can sit for hours stimulated by the work that you're doing, and you feel almost like it isn't really you, because you're becoming a channel for love and for divine energy to move through your body. And our bodies really are connected to this universal intelligence, and we can see that if when our bodies aren't eating, they're healing, they're becoming more whole, they're becoming more light, more health, without having to do anything but trust that the process is going to heal you. It happens. And so our bodies are communicating with the divine, because it is what the divine works through our bodies. And so, you know, what I find in the spiritual community a lot is people want to become more spirit and less matter. They talk down the 3D, and I'm guilty of that. You say, oh, that's so 3D. Oh, I don't want to be in the I'm feeling so 3D. But actually, these physical bodies that we incarnated to experience are so beautiful, and the experience is so vast that actually we are, when we realize that our embodiment is divine as well, we up level our spiritual awakening journey, because we're not rejecting any part of this life. And our bodies aren't here to be rejected. Fasting isn't about rejecting your body. It's about feeling more of your body. When I fast, I feel more of my energy in my body. I feel more alive. And that's because our bodies have this life within them that is allowed to be spoken and heard, more pronounced, when we stop consuming all the time. And again, when we clear our vessel, when we clear our inner vessel, we become a clearer channel. And you may have seen this picture before. It's a very famous piece of art in the breatharian community, in the fasting community. And when you allow your vessel to become clearer and less dense, you do become a clearer vessel for the divine energy to move through you, for the information you'd like to hear, for the ideas you'd like. It comes through you much more clearly. And I've seen this on my own journey as a channeler. The more I clear my diet and my fasting regime becomes more one of regularity, it becomes much easier to channel light energy and love energy and healing energy. And that doesn't mean that we shouldn't eat food. Of course we should eat, because also sometimes you need to ground that. And I've noticed with myself, I actually go back to cook food sometimes, because sometimes I'm too in the ether, and I need to remember I am having a human experience. And for me personally, I need to be grounded more sometimes. So it's balancing it. It's allowing yourself to feel the vibration, the high vibrational energy that fasting provides, and then enjoy the sensation of food, enjoy the feminine energy of pleasure, and to not be too restrictive, but to allow ourselves to vacillate between restriction and fasting and discipline and pleasure and indulgence and the joys of consumption as well. So I've put here tips for loving and conscious consumption, because as I said, and I'm saying throughout this presentation, I truly believe that the ways that we put the food into our body is the key to a healthy, happy relationship with ourselves. If you want a more loving relationship with yourself, and not only with yourself, but with the world at large, the first thing I would say to do is start to bless your food with gratitude. Gratitude for the earth, gratitude for the farmers. If you're eating animal products, gratitude for the animal and all the hands that your food went through. In our globalized world, we have so many hands that the food goes to bring us our food. And especially us that live in colder climates, all these tropical fruits and these grains that grow miles and miles away from us, having gratitude for the global network that provided you with this meal. Whereas most of us, you eat your food, you don't even look at it, you don't even, you know, it's almost sad how little respect we have for the journey that our food goes on to become more of us. When we eat, the food becomes us. How amazing. And for most of us, we don't even look at the food. People inhale the food and then they get indigestion. Like I used to inhale my food. I used to just go into the cupboards, eat this, eat this, eat this, eat this, and hardly even chew it. And then sit, and my stomach was so bloated. And not once did I even think that I need to be grateful for my food. That didn't cross my mind once. And because I didn't grow up, my parents, my dad's Muslim, my mum's Jewish. I didn't grow up in a very religious household. I was never taught to be grateful for my food. And also with me, sometimes my mum had a disordered relationship with food. I would copy the ways that she ate. There was a shame in eating. There was no respect or love or celebration of food. So blessing your food with gratitude, I do it all the time with everything. Even if I am having a snack, I kiss the orange, I kiss the peach, and I just thank Mother Nature for this blessing. And the second tip, eating without distractions. And this is actually my New Year's resolution, was to consume without consuming. Because again, it's so easy to get distracted. Oh, like I had to put the kids here. I need to answer this email. Oh, I want to watch Netflix. And sometimes that's nice. Yeah. But I would say that really for a conscious, loving relationship with your food, look at the food, taste the food, smell the food. Don't eat with the TV on, because it's a sacred act. You're literally eating to become more. This food is keeping you alive. Sitting with it and really having that respect for it, it means that even if you're eating a cheeseburger and chips, but you eat it with that appreciation, you will transmute the energy of the density. You will. Like the other day, I had pasta for the first time in maybe 2 years from a restaurant. And for ages, I didn't even eat in restaurants. I was like, I can't eat in restaurants. The low vibration of the chefs, the low vibration of the food, I cannot do that. But I was a bit nervous about going to the restaurant. And then when I went into the nervousness, it was actually a mask, a cover up for other things. Because a lot of the time, the way we relate to food is a complete mask, because it's nothing to do with food. Food is the medium for our pain to be expressed. So I was realizing it was to do with belonging and grieving my time in Manchester, as I know that I'm about to leave, and maybe even moving out of the country. I don't know. And I was very afraid of this meal with the pasta. And then when I went into it, I was like, okay, it's not the meal. But I ate this food. I blessed the food. And now I'm so unconscious. I don't care who sees me. I used to be like, oh, it's a bit embarrassing blessing food in a restaurant. Now I'm like, see me bless the food. I will jump up and sing to this food if I need to, if I'm feeling it. So I blessed my food. And then I was having this beautiful conversation with the person across from me. I ate the food mindfully, but very slowly as well, because again, I can't do two things at once too much. So I was conversing with her, eating the food. I did get bloated the next day. I did. And maybe that's my body telling me, no, you shouldn't eat that food. But immediately after, I experienced no bloat whatsoever. My stomach was digesting it quite well. Like I didn't feel heavy. And I was eating what I would consider heavy, dense foods, like oily, gluten, all of that stuff that generally I wouldn't gravitate towards and I wouldn't want to consume. I ate it, but I did eat it with a love and respect for my body. And it didn't feel dense afterwards. And I was like, okay, yeah. Another tip, sitting still after a meal. So for many of us, we eat, we go, and our bodies actually don't have a time to sit with it. And also I find with myself, I'm prone to overeating if I get up after my meal. I get up and then I'm like, oh, I could have some of this, I could have some of this, oh, I could eat some of this dessert, whatever. But if I sit after the meal for 20 minutes to half an hour, I read something, I watch something, sit down, that really helps me to consciously become aware of my fullness and to have that time to digest before I can decide maybe I do want to eat something else. But if I eat straight away afterwards, then I'm not feeling the fullness yet, and I'm still not fully conscious of the digestive energy working, like the digestive process hasn't occurred yet. And then the last one, eating with people you love. So I see this as well, as when you eat with people who you love, or you're having a stimulating conversation, the food becomes secondary, and the love that you share with that person is the primary energy that you are consuming. And so when you eat, and no matter what it is, there is that sense of you're eating love. So eating with people who uplift your mood. I would never, ever eat now if someone was angry around me. It sickens me. Like I feel physically sick. If there's arguments going on around me when I'm eating, I'll just not eat because I physically can't bring myself to consume that energy. And in the past, it's like, again, to arguments, sit and eat my food with anger and with rage, like this eating this food. And I have memories of my dad doing it as well, like anger and then eating in this violent way. Like food is almost like this, like, it's like this way of going like, you can't mess with my emotions. I'm eating. And now I'm like, there is no way I would ever consume anything if I was in a low vibrational anger state, or if people were having arguments, political arguments around me. No. And the amount of people who talk about having political arguments at their dinner table with their families, oh, get that energy off of me. Like, no, No, awful, awful, awful way to consume. Really, really just like you're eating that emotion. You're literally eating that emotion. So this slide, I want to speak a little bit about my yoga practice. And I would say that yoga is the practice that changed my relationship with my body for the better. So I began doing yoga in 2020, and my practice slowly built up, but it was really in 2020, later in the year, where I started to do prayers to my body, that it really changed. So I would do a prayer every single day, and now I don't do yoga every day. Now I do qigong. I do a South Korean energy practice called Jeng Shim as well, which is another energy practice to move your body around, and it's very detoxifying and beautiful, which I can share more about as well. And I was saying to my body every single day, thank you so much for the blessing, for the honor of being in this body. I'm so grateful for this body. And then I would ask my body, please show me the way. Please show me how to move through the day with ease, with joy, with love, with comfort. Thank you for this blessing of a body. And then I kiss my hands, and then I put my hands on my forehead, blessing my third eye, and reminding myself that this body is so incredible, and I'm so grateful every day to be in it. And at the beginning, when I started this body prayer, I wasn't very embodied in the ways that I am now, but I was saying it to remind myself on a daily basis that this is my temple, this is my gift that I have been given to experience earth with, and I'm going to be grateful every single day. And all of those years of abuse, of hating my body, of thinking of myself as too fat, as ugly, as unworthy of being in a body, it was changing my relationship with my body. And now I hug my body every day. I speak to my body every day. My body speaks to me. I am so tuned in all the time with what this vessel needs, what my body needs, because every day with yoga I tuned in. And as well with yoga is, it's not like other forms of exercise. You really listen. You begin to listen to where the knots are. Where do I need to stretch today? Where's the energy trapped? And how can I tune in? How can I tune into what my body needs? And I would say that understanding the needs of your body is a very quick way to raise your vibration, because you realize that there are tense motions and tense areas in your body that we can ignore for years. And when you start tuning into your body, you can transmute that lower negative energy that we've trapped because we don't listen. And again, when we eat too much, when we eat the low vibrational foods in an unconscious way, we're not listening to our bodies. And people like I was trapped in this cycle of abuse, overeating on a daily basis for many, many years. Not once did I even think to ask my body, what would you like to eat today? How are you feeling today? I was disconnected from any dialogue with my body. So when you tune in, you can begin to heal the density that you've trapped in your body through the consumption. And fasting, again, fasting is such a beautiful way to do this, because you aren't bombarding your body with the avoidance soma, the avoidance drug. You are sitting with the sadness and you're sitting with the pain, and your body can say, well, actually, today I think I just need a bath, or today I need a walk. Not saying, I need breakfast, lunch, and dinner and 5 snacks in between because someone told me that, and actually I'm going to overeat in these ones because I'm also, I also think that this is just going down a little bit of a rabbit hole, but the ways that we've been taught to believe that we need 3 meals a day and we need these nutrients and that nutrients, again, it takes us away from the natural ability to listen to our bodies. And again, in Ayurveda, listening to our bodies, knowing that our bodies are its own universe, it means that there is no roadmap, there is no government guideline for how many calories you need, for how many meals you need, or for what the macronutrients are that you need, because your body is so intelligent and wise that she, he, they will speak to you every single day. If you listen to your body, if you're tuned in, you do not need the help of any professional. And this is why this lifestyle is freeing. It's freedom. It's the love that you cultivate for yourself to be free from someone telling you how you should live, There is no single way for how one person should live. And this is the path of love for yourself. When you love yourself and you can tune into your own body, you become more free because you know what you need better than anyone else. So, when I start with my raw veganism with this and that, people go, oh, don't you need carbohydrates? Don't you need this? Don't you need that? And I tell them, and I do the research, but a lot of the time I don't really speak too much about the research because I find that my personal experience feels to me more important, and I feel more drawn by people's experiences than I do by the science. But the science interests me. I love learning, and I love the stories behind why things work, but really the experience is more compelling for me with anyone's healing journey. And so the path of freedom, when we start to listen to our bodies, when you start to say, what do you need, body? Then you are in charge of what your body needs, not a book, not a person, not a doctor. You are the most, your body is the most powerful guide for your healing journey. It's just a matter of undoing the layers of conditioning telling you that you needed external advice always, and realizing that you are the creator and you are the creator of your reality, and you know what's best for you. So this is something I think a lot of the people in the fasting group chat know about orin therapy, urine therapy, Shivambu. This isn't something that many people in the world know about, I'm sure. And it's not something I share with many people because I don't want to. I feel like I'm getting used to being open about it. But the more that I drink my own water and the more I see the benefits, I just become aware that this is just the best kept secret. And again, in ancient India and in India now in the modern days, and as well in many ancient practices all over the world, this was very common. And even today, in medicine, in drugs, and in skincare products, they use extracts from urine. And you should ask yourself, where are they actually getting these extracts from? Because it's probably not from humans, but there's a really beautiful book called Your Own Perfect Medicine. And it's about a woman who was struggling with health for her entire life. And then in her 40s, she discovered orin therapy and it changed her life. So for me, I discovered orin therapy through Tuche, who I think has been on the weekly fasting group chat webinars as well. And she's an amazing, beautiful being. She's a health coach, an iridologist, a pioneer for orin therapy. And she is the one who introduced me to it. So when I found orin therapy, I was in a cycle of emotional eating. I'd moved into this house that I was living in now, and I was feeling very ungrounded. And it wasn't bad foods, but it was not how I wanted to eat. It was loads of raw stuff, chocolate, like dark chocolate, all of this peanut butter and dates and stuff like that. And they're all fine, but I knew that I was consuming it from a place of dis-ease. And I was in this cycle, in this cycle, in this cycle. And then I discovered Tuche's account and she kept mentioning this orin. And I was like, what is orin? And then I was like, oh, wow, orin therapy. And my friend had been telling me he had been doing it. And when I connected with Tuche's energy, and I'm sensitive to other people's energy, I was taken by how bright and light and fluid she was. And I got really into watching loads of videos about orin therapy. And I spoke to my friend about it and I started reading about it. And I realized, whoa, this is going to up level my life. This is going to be a step. And I felt that with raw food as well. I knew that raw food was going to take me somewhere. It's like when you know something's going to up level you. I knew that when I started to drink my own water, it was going to change me in some way for the better. And so on a weekend when none of my flatmates were in, I got a jar and I had a little bit and I held it up above my head and just thanked my body for this water. And then I drank the tiniest sip because I couldn't drink loads at the time as well because the taste was a bit intense when I first began. And it was like I felt light energy moving through my entire body. I felt it all over me, like something was clearing me. And now about 6 months down the line since I began, it has changed me on a cellular level. I've noticed since I started drinking my own urine, my own urine, that I am so much more fluid emotionally, as in when things come through me, I don't feel as dense. I feel lighter. I don't feel as bothered. I've noticed that since I've started, I feel more comfortable to speak my truth. So there are loads of emotional benefits that I notice. But on the physical level, I feel like it's helping me to know what's good and what's bad in a much more intuitive way. I noticed when I started to do orange therapy that I found dehydrating acidic foods much harder to consume in large quantities. Like I used to be able to eat loads of peanut butter and loads of nuts, and that was my emotional eating was coming through in those foods. And I noticed with orange therapy that when I would eat like that and it was overly done, I would get very dry throughout the night and the next day. Even like my whole body would feel like it had been sapped of water. And I'm not going to go into like the real science of orange therapy today. There's so much on it. You look it up, there's hundreds of books. It is your natural, your medicine. It is your medicine. And so many people have transformed their health with this way of being. And I wasn't ill before, but I can say that it's changed my health for the better 100%. It has helped me to align more with my truth. And what's more is I always used to have a little bit of a bloat. Even when I began doing fasting, when I was raw vegan, I would always have a bloat in my stomach. It was a constant. And I don't know what it was. I thought maybe it was gut parasites bloating me up. I don't know. But since I started orange therapy, I don't have that anymore. And I don't have any issues with my elimination. I eliminate very constantly throughout the day. And again, it's your structured water. It's the water from within you. So it's very hydrating for your body. And I would say I would say I'm maybe going to become more of an advocate for it in the future. It's not something I speak about a lot, but for living in a higher vibrational state, when you're if it aligns for you, if it feels right for you, it is a very, very powerful practice for shifting your vibration. And for everyone that you see online who's doing it, you see and feel a glow. You feel that they are doing something that is really beneficial for them. And I felt it with Tuche. I felt it with I forgot his name, Jerome, with Nick Caputo, all these people, the Black Airbender, all these young people that are change makers, really transforming natural health in the online community and also challenging belief systems. And it's confronting what we think is normal, because people think, oh my God, your own pee, but it's waste. And now I find it funny because when I was younger, I was like, yeah, that's disgusting. But now I'm like, I don't see it as disgusting at all because I'm so used to it. And you realize it's not waste at all. We've been lied to. You think it's waste. It's this medicine. And it's just amazing. It's one of those things that you have to go deep into your own conditioning when you start. You really do. And the more that you wake up to the ideas that natural health have to offer, and you see that they help you, and you go with your own experience, again, the more freedom and the more love you can have for yourself, because I'm on my own healing journey, and it's okay if you don't align with me, because this is what works for me, and this is how I feel about Shivambu. And Shivambu means the waters of Shiva in Sanskrit. This works for me, and it won't work for everyone, and not everyone's going to enjoy it or even believe in it or live by this. But the more I do this therapy, the more I'm like, this is my life, this is my body, and it works for me. And we can disagree to disagree, and that's fine. So here, I'm just speaking a bit about movement and why movement is such an important part of keeping a high vibration. So the first thing is, movement is the quickest way to release stored energy in your body. So we tend to now live much more sedentary lifestyles than our ancestors did, because everything is so easily accessible. You can deliver groceries to your house, and you can work from home, And there's nothing that really requires us, in the Western civilization to move than we in the ways that we used to when we were early humans. So movement releases stuck energy. When we're sedentary and we don't move, our emotions can get stuck inside of us. And I've noticed on my own healing journey that when I shake, so I do a lot of shaking, dancing, moving, it brings sadness out of me. So doing yoga brings sadness out of me, shaking or dancing, and not just sadness, but joy as well. And I've said this at the end here, it allows more joy into your life. But yeah, we lead much more sedentary lives than we used to. And when we move our energy around, you are able to release the density that we're holding on to. Like you had an argument with someone, moving your body, jumping, shaking, shouting, releasing your energy, it allows that to move out of your body. And so you don't get stuck with it. And again, when you become more aware of yourself, when you become more self-aware and you're on your discovery journey, your healing journey, you are confronted with dense emotions. You are confronted with the shadow, because we are there to bring light to the shadow. And a really great tool for releasing the shadow is to just move your body, run, dance, jump, do whatever it is that you feel excites you. We're not doing exercise so that we can like pump hard in the gym, unless that is your highest excitement. But for me, it's changed so much since I've become more aware of my own body. It began with yoga, and I was doing yoga every single day. And then I was not into the yoga as much, and I was doing more qigong, jengshim. And now I dance a lot. I listen to a lot of Bollywood music and I dance every day, move my body. Now I've gotten back into more high intensity workouts once or twice a week. And it's following the joy. And there's a reason why sedentary lifestyles lead to more ailment. I believe it's the same thing with the dis-ease with food. When we don't move our bodies, we are creating disease in our body because we're not moving the stuck, dense energy that we experience. We experience stress from our work. We don't move. And then we're stuck in these compact bodies filled with the stressful energy. But when you move, you release it. You release it from your body. And again, movement allows more joy to enter your life. I'm sure many people on here know this. When you move with the joy that you have within you, when you move and you're dancing, when you're playing a game of sports, when you're having a yoga class, you feel the capacities of your body to live. We're here to feel. And when you feel movement, when you're moving, there's so much joy to be had, and you feel so powerful. You feel the power of your body when you feel yourself moving, and you feel the joy that you have within you and the capacity. You are aware of how powerful you are. And I truly believe that manifestation, you have to be embodied in joy to manifest with ease. When we want to manifest the life that we want to call in lives that we want to call in the people that we want. If we're calling it with stress, we are not allowing that to come through. But when you move with joy, it's so easy to manifest. It becomes so easy. So energetic cleanliness. My dad speaks about this himself a lot. And this is something that I really, really have integrated into my own life. So energetic cleanliness and the practices I use to keep my energy body clear and light. So as well as the physical practices, as well as the fasting, high vibrational foods, conscious consumption, doing the shadow work, movement, keeping your energy body clear and light is another very important aspect of our healing journey. And now you may or may not have experienced your energy body before, but we have an electromagnetic field around us. In Kundalini Yoga, they speak about this a lot, which is your auric field, your auric field, your electromagnetic field around you. And this is scientifically proven. You can see that it's around you with cranial photography, and this space around you, this electromagnetic field, it has the power to affect your gene expression. So if this space around you is filled with dense negative energy, you are changing the expressions of your genes. So actually, when you begin to clear an electromagnetic field and you become more light in your field, you make room and you create space for the highest potential of your DNA and your genetic expression to be unlocked. So there's a connection between your inner body and the outer space here, the energy body that surrounds you. So the first one that I put here is Kundalini breath work. On my YouTube channel, I have some breath work techniques that I've shared, and I do breath work almost every single morning. That's how I start my day. I have a shower, I get up, feel gratitude, I have a shower, and I speak to the water, and I thank the water for the warmth on my body, and then I put the shower on cold and I thank it for the cold. And then when I'm dressed, I do breath work, and it helps to free my energy body as well. I begin to feel that there's energy moving through my body with more ease, and it's very clearing as well. If you're feeling negative thoughts in your head and you do breath work, it clears that. In the same way, when you do exercise and you're ruminating and there's negative thoughts, when you do exercise or breath work, it just flushes it out, and you realize, I just needed to move my energy. That's why I was stuck, because my energy was caught in my body and it needed to be released. Second one I put down is grounding with nature, swimming in the sea, swimming in a pond, going for walks, feeling the bare feet on the earth. Grounding with nature, an amazing way to clear your energetic body, to clear your field. There's a really good documentary called Earthing, which speaks all about the science behind barefoot walking, and it's fascinating. In the same way, so inflammation is really the root cause of all illness, and when you become inflamed, you become ill. And grounding with nature with your bare feet is a very, very, very fast and effective way to reduce inflammation throughout your entire body. So it's a very powerful practice to get your bare feet on the earth. If it's cold outside, it gets harder, but I was dancing outside as with the cold with my bare feet on the earth, and that was my way of earthing through the winter. Fasting and consuming mostly natural whole foods, and I said mostly because, again, honor the days where you feel like, you know what, I feel like a bit of chocolate, I feel like a bit of some ice cream, I want that. It's okay if you're doing it with love. And again, if you don't feel like it's right for you, don't do it. Follow the feeling. For me, I feel, maybe sometimes it's okay to eat this thing that isn't fully natural, fully whole, because I'm honoring my feminine body, and this isn't how I always am going to eat. I just know that this is what I want right now, and that's okay. And the journey of self-love is also a journey of trust. When you trust the choices that you make, and you know that they come from a loving space and from a conscious space, and that your journey in life and in your decisions are generally geared towards more love, then it's okay to have the chocolate bar or a piece of cake, because it's loving yourself. This is about loving yourself and loving your body, and being grateful for the plethora, for the varied sensations you can have in your incarnation right now. We're here to experience high energy. We're experiencing light through fasting, through natural foods, but we're also here for some taste of beautiful chocolate and sugar. And it's okay to have that, and to not feel bad when you have that. And again, if you feel like it will make you feel guilty, then don't eat it. If you feel like, actually, that's going to give me more anxiety than love, then don't do it. But if you get to the state where actually you feel like you can and you will have the love for yourself afterwards, then do it. And know that there's no right or wrong here. It's all about the feeling that you have within you, and to follow the feelings that align you with your soul, with your higher self. That's the journey. This is the journey back to understanding, what does my universe need? The universe I've incarnated into, which is my body, which is my soul. What does my soul need? Another very powerful practice for releasing energy and keeping your energy body light is sound making or mantra chanting. So I have a flatmate, and we do sound making together. And when we do that, we just, whatever comes through us comes through, and we sound like two aliens shouting at each other. But it's so beautiful, and it's so powerful for releasing energy. And mantra chanting, Sadhguru once said, you don't need to know what the mantra is saying to feel the effects. And so for years, I've been listening to Hindu mantras, and I chant mantras, and I got into meditation and got into the trance state first and foremost through chanting the chant Om Namah Shivaya. And for 4 or 5 years, I didn't even know what it meant. I was 14 and I was attracted to the chant. And the meaning actually was interesting. It means when you're going to Om Namah Shivaya, you're connecting to the energy of the elements, but also you're connecting to Shiva, no thingness. So the silence beneath everything, holding the universe together, the stillness. So mantra chanting, a very good way of clearing your energy body, connecting to light. And then these are more esoteric ways of doing it, but I work with angels in my work. So when I do channeling for people and when I go into the Akashic records for people, I bring angels for protection. And the angelic energy of Archangel Zadkiel and the ultraviolet fire angels are very cleansing energies. So if you can find meditations all over YouTube, I have my own meditation on Spotify for energetic cleanliness, and which I will share. I'll share you my Spotify at the end of this webinar. And ultraviolet fire angels are very powerful. You call them in and you feel the shift in your energy body. I'm even mentioning them now. I can feel the energy around me is clearing. And another yeah, so ultraviolet fire angels and also elemental fire dragons. And you can just close your eyes and visualize this purple flame around you, the angels of the purple flame, and just trust the energy body's being cleared. But again, if it doesn't resonate with you, don't do it. Just go with what feels right for you. And the last one is affirming. And I say this again and again, but your voice is so powerful. Your affirmations are so powerful for shifting your reality. So be mindful of the words that you use, because in every moment you are reconditioning your subconscious mind to create the reality that you want, or that you subconsciously are creating, because a lot of us aren't even aware of the words that we use, and we create these situations of tension in our lives because we are creating it. We are the creator, and we create our realities with the words that we use. So use your words wisely, really use your words wisely, and affirming that you release. So I say this out loud every day because it's a practice. I've gotten into this practice and it's now become a habit. And I say it every single day when I'm going outside, when I come home, when something has come into my field, like someone's angry energy that I don't enjoy. When it comes in, I just say, and I ask my guides for help as well, and my angels. Again, if you don't connect to guides and angels, you can just ask the universe, ask your body, ask whatever higher power you would like to help you, or any intelligence that you would like support with, because you are so supported in your journey of healing. Ask to release any lower stagnant energy from your energy field now. And you say now, because this is the affirmation that you right now, you are releasing it. And you can also say, I am now releasing any lower stagnant energy that does not serve me from my field. And when you say that, your words are so powerful. Trust that this is leaving you. The energy listens to you. Energy is directed by your voice and by your intentions. And when you affirm that, the energy is listening to you because you are that powerful. So listen to your words and release. And I also invite in deities like Kali. Kali she is the mother of the universe in the Hindu pantheon. And she is the destroyer of evils, the destroyer of all evils. And she is such a fierce, powerful goddess. And when I was going through a lot of fear last year in my old house, because I was waking up to my ability to sense spirits everywhere. So I was connecting to stuff all over the place. I did not know how to control that. And I would go to sleep at night with a lot of fear. So I would have Kali Ma breaking out all the negative energy. I'd have lions visualized on my bed, ultraviolet fire angels. I was protecting my entire field because this is the support that I felt I needed. And yeah, it was very powerful for me. Keeping my space clear of lower negative energy as well was very, very powerful for keeping my vibration high and light. And I also believe that that is true for everyone. The environment that you're in, so say you're in nature and you're around the harmony of nature and the symphony and the symmetry of nature, your body is being cleared. If you're in a house full of clutter and you don't like your flatmate and you got an argument with the person next door, the energy of that is also affecting you. So again, being aware of how we treat our environment is very important, and the environments that we hold within us and around us are very important on this journey of becoming more light. So how fasting has supported my own work. So as I said in the beginning of this webinar, fasting for me has really allowed me to confront my shadows and my trauma. So as I confronted these denser aspects of my own life and my reality and my personality, I have become more loving. And I have become more loving not only for myself, but the rest of the world, because the more we fall into love within ourselves, the more we have for everyone in our lives. And so my work is to help people to move through their trauma and to connect to the light that they are. My mantra, my work is, I work with me to manifest the life you deserve to live. And I support people in their journey of manifestation and discovering their soul's truth. And truly, you can't have someone supporting you if you don't feel their love for you in some way. And so as I've become a more loving being, I've aligned more with what my soul wants to bring to the world, and the love my soul wants to bring with the world. It has called in the clients and the people that trust me to help them connect to the love and the light that they are. And so, as I said, yeah, trusted by others to help them to heal. I've noticed that as I fasted and cleared my own shadow and become more light, my vibration is raised, and it's allowed healing energy to move through me with greater ease. And that's not just in a healing context, that is in every context. I'll be in a conversation with the mailman, and I know that I've just given him a little blessing because I am giving this genuine energy of joy and happiness, and that is received. You receive the codes. When you allow in the energy of someone else who is connecting to light and love, you are receiving that energy yourself. And so, as I'm saying here as well, fasting has helped me to connect to divine universal intelligence. When I clear my own system, when my digestive system isn't constantly working and my energy body is being freed, and when I'm clearing my shadows, when I'm sitting with the dense aspects that are coming up, when I'm not avoiding them with food, I am connecting to universal love, light, energy with more clarity. And as I'm a channel for universal intelligence, I'm a channel for other beings to speak through me, and I'm a channel for the Akashic records, as well as healing energy. The energy is a much clearer way. It comes through me with much more clarity. And yeah, so I said here, clear channel. The more I fasted, and that's not just the physical fasting, it's also fasting sometimes from social media, fasting from negative thoughts, fasting from lower vibrational people or beings or situations that don't serve me. The clearer my channel has become for love, light, and the divine source energy to move through me. And but I would say that fasting, the physical fasting, is a major part of this. As I sat with the trauma, as I sat with the density, allowed that to be transmuted, my work and myself shifted for the better. And so these are the things that I offer to the people who come to me. And these offerings are changing, and I feel that my work will change as I actually speak more about natural food and natural living, because this is something that I'm very passionate about. And for a while, I felt like, how can I be an authority over that? Because I feel like everyone should find their own truth themselves. But I'm realizing more and more that my work is about helping people to discover their own truth. So I won't come to someone and go, this is the format, this is the way. It's more, how do I help people change their relationship with food, like I have, with their own blueprint involved? So I'm a trance channeler, which means that I'm able to slip into trance states and channel other beings. So when I channel other beings, it's a very high vibration. You can check out my YouTube channel, which I will send you a link to, or my Instagram, where I post monthly channeled messages. And they are so beautiful, these messages that we receive. I also channel Goddess Isis, and I have a very strong connection to the Egyptian deities as well, Isis and Sekhmet, the goddess, and spirit guides. So I channel these beings to help support people on their life path and on their journeys, because these beings have a connection to information that we don't have, that me as a human doesn't have. And when I go into the radio station of these higher dimensional beings, you gain access to information that, like, I'm surprised by. I go, oh, that's really interesting. Oh, wow. because it's universal intelligence. It's amazing. And it's a really beautiful session. It's so powerful. Your body receives a physical healing because you're receiving this energy from higher vibrational beings. You receive more clarity on what you need to be doing in your life path. And I am always so taken aback by the love and the wisdom that I'm able to bring through when I do trance channeling. Another offering I do is I read the Akashic records. So for those of you who haven't heard of the Akashic records, they are the soul records where all of the events in the universe take place. And I am designing a website, which I am hoping to get out in the next few weeks. I'm sure in the next few weeks I will have it out, and there I'll have all of my booking stuff on to book, to understand my work more. I'm so excited. I've done masterclasses before. I'm going to be selling them there, as well as meditations that I've been creating with a friend. He's a musician. He's so talented. Really beautiful meditations I'm going to be selling on my website. So Akashic records, I go into detail in a blog post about what the records are, but essentially no energy can be created or destroyed. And so everything that has ever happened or will happen exists somewhere. This exists in the Akashic records. The Akashic records are the vast space for you to understand where you have been, where you're going, and to understand what you should be doing. So I go into the Akashic records to people when they want to understand why is this coming up for me? Why am I experiencing this issue in my relationship, this issue in my health? Why am I overeating? Why am I undereating? Where is it coming from? And then I get very varied images depending on who I'm channeling for, because it is a trance state that I go into when I channel in the Akashic records. And the Akashic records, it's a beautiful experience. And there's artworks that I have on my website that I'm going to be publishing of the Akashic records that people create. And it's amazing what artists are able to capture, because it feels like this vast tunnel of psychedelic patterns and movement of energy, and it's very beautiful and very vast. And depending on how far or how deep you'd like to go, you can receive the most incredible images in the Akashic records. And to help you on your healing journey, it gives you a roadmap. It's a very powerful, beautiful experience that I think everyone should have at least once. And I feel so blessed to be incarnated to share this gift with the world, because I didn't know that I was going to be doing this. I didn't know that I was going to be able to bring this. But for the people who I do this for, and for myself, all the readings I've done for myself to understand why I experience my life the way I do, and to understand my trauma, I am so grateful. I'm so grateful that I have this. And then this is my final offering, and I may change the name, but this is holistic life coaching. So this is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, to combine the different practices I do. And this is about understanding your cosmic origins, understanding yourself as a multidimensional being, and receiving holistic lifestyle coaching. So we look at where the trauma came from. We look at the current lifestyle and understand how can we move through this through channeling, Akashic records reading, mindset coaching, and meditation. So I combine the different skill sets I have to create this program. And I'm actually creating a coaching program right now that's going to run for 6 weeks. And that's going to be an immersive container where we'll meet every single week, and we'll go into the depth of where things come from, the blocks, and move through them. But that's still being birthed. They're still growing. I'm still pregnant with that idea. And it's like growing in its own rate, and I'm really excited for it to come out. But for now, I offer this, and with these sessions I offer 3 sessions to purchase. But if you'd like only one, you can get in touch with me about that. But yeah, these are the things that I offer to you, really because I truly want to help other people to live in alignment with their soul's knowledge and their soul's power, and to empower people to know that your healing journey is a journey back to yourself. It is not about listening to a guru or anyone outside of you who knows more than you. It's about aligning with who you are and what you know within you. And when you do the Akashic records reading, when you do the channeling, you're just receiving the messages that you already know, but the confirmation helps you to believe in yourself. And this is really what I'm about. It's empowering people by reflecting back the power that you already are. I am just a reflection. This whole thing, everything I said today, this is a mirror of what you already know. You're just being reminded of the soul's knowledge so that you can continue on your journey, because it's a beautiful thing. We're here as separate expressions of source to remind each other of our collective divinity and to hold each other on this journey. And it's so beautiful. And so this is how to get in touch with me. I'm going to leave a link. I'll leave several links in the chat at the end. But yeah, so Instagram's a great way. I'm on Instagram a lot. I do live videos there. I post inspiring, uplifting content, and the community is growing and growing and growing, and that's so beautiful. And I put YouTube videos up. YouTube I haven't done in a while, but I know it's because I've got a lot brewing, and my speaking has advanced since my last videos. So I post different videos there about spirituality, meditation videos, channeling, manifestation, self-love, well-being, and the lifestyle that I live to increase my joy, my light, my love, and how you can, if you would like to, yourself. And then I have a Facebook group and page. And again, it's a growing community of like-minded spiritual entrepreneurs, leaders of light. And I say leaders of light, it could be anyone. A leader of light is someone who wants to see the world change for the better. You don't need to be on the path that is like specifically spiritual. It's just someone who is here to bring light in some form to the world and awaken souls to receive support on your healing journey. And this last slide for you to hear is fortune favors the bold or the brave. And it's a common proverb. It's Latin, and you may have heard of it. I don't know where it came from, but I want to say this to all of you today who have joined, that your fortune, and that could come in the fortune of amazing health, of a beautiful relationship, of friendship. Fortune comes in many, many ways, because wealth is not just physical, it's mental, spiritual, emotional. It favors the bold and the brave. It's those of us who are ready to see and sit with the pain and the trauma that we as a collective have experienced, to sit with it and go, I will feel the fear and do it anyway. So this is the end of my presentation. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to stop my screen share now, and in a moment I'll share my links. But thank you so much for everyone who stayed on, and I hope you all enjoyed this.
Yeah, Mika, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, so maybe so we'll have some time for questions if people have any questions. But first of all, yeah, it was amazing. Thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed listening to you.
Thank you.
And I wanted to ask you a few questions. First of all, you mentioned blessing the food before eating it. So could you share a particular practice of blessing, or maybe particular wording that you are using, or like in this something in this realm?
Yeah, definitely. So I start every blessing with thank you, Mother Nature, so much for this incredible gift of food. That's the first thing that I always say. And then the rest of it changes. But I'm going to write it in the chat. Thank you, Mother Nature, for this incredible gift of food. And then I change it up and I go, thank you to the people who delivered it, the people who imported it, the people who grew it, the land that it came from. I'm so grateful for the processes it went through. And then I say, and then I this is actually something I've been doing the past couple of months, but it's may this food bring me XYZ. So I go, may this food bring me joy, laughter, love, more friendship, more happiness, sensual pleasure, pleasurable sensations, you know, all of those good things. I ask the food, so I'm manifesting with the food as well. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, very good. And then while eating the food, while chewing it, while swallowing it, are you trying to maintain those high vibrations, those vibrations of gratitude?
Well, it depends, because say I'm having a meal with someone else, we might be having a conversation and I'm not as involved. When I'm eating with myself, I spend a lot of my time with my eyes closed, nodding and dancing. I'm like, oh yeah, this is so delicious. Oh my God. And I close my eyes and I really taste. But you know, I also sometimes fall prey to eating in more of a rush and eating with less consciousness than I'd like to, because, you know, it's a practice and we're all human and it's a
Sure.
daily practice.
Sure.
But I trust that the food itself is doing the work and the intention was set. So yeah.
Okay, and how would you go about drinking water or drinking juices for a person who drinks juices? Would you do the same, or would you do anything different when we talk about liquids?
So I am definitely less conscious with liquids. When I'm drinking my own liquids, I am more grateful and I'm more connected to the medicine that it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I have a water jug and I drink yogi teas, and I put the lovely statements that the yogi on the water. And I was actually writing poetry to my water at one point, and I have a video. My most recent video on my YouTube was actually water is conscious and can heal you, because water molecules they vibrate with the frequency you bring them. So I try my best, but with water I am a bit less conscious. But with juices, I am very aware of that. Juices is something, because I know that it's with water, it's just water, but well, it's not just water, but with juice, I know it's this solid thing. So when I'm drinking juices, I like kiss the carton and drink the juice with love and gratitude.
Okay, good, good. And also, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned this term, shadow work. So could you expand a little bit on that? What does it include?
Definitely. So I would say shadow work is really it's an overarching term for any work or process that we do to understand our trauma. So I think that shadow work has kind of been used in ways that make people feel quite distant from it. But I think that any way of looking at your trauma is a form of doing the shadow work, because you're looking at the shadow self. And the word shadow comes from Carl Jung, who's a Swiss psychoanalyst who is interested in the unconscious mind. And he says the shadow is in the unconscious mind. It's the unconscious behavior that governs us until we become aware and shine light on the unconscious mind. And we do that through these self-awareness practices, through speaking about what we've been through fasting. We become aware of our shadow, and then we become more light and more love.
Okay, wow, very interesting. Mika, and also I wanted to ask you, you mentioned actually you had a video on keeping your vibrations high, and you mentioned that every time you go out, you kind of put this kind of an intention that only high energies will surround you or something like that. So could you elaborate on that? What exactly you do there in order to keep your day highly vibrational?
Yeah. So when I leave my house, I start, and again, not everyone connects with spirit guides or angels. So if this isn't something you resonate with, you can just ask for these emotions to surround you. But what I say when I leave the house, what I specifically say is, I am now asking my guides and my angels to protect my energy field from any lower vibrational energy, to surround me with light, with love. And it changes every day, but I say mostly with light, with love, with positive energy, and any negative energy that enters my field, may it be felt, because I'm not here to not feel the bad stuff. It's may it be felt and then transmuted up into the light of creation, to be released out of my body or down into the earth. May it be removed from my body and sent to the light. So I'm asking for anything negative or anything that could harm me to be alchemized, so my body shifts the vibration of it. So I become like a magnet that can absorb it and release it. Because again, when I became energetically sensitive, I was absorbing so much and I had no idea how to let go of it. So I was becoming, everything was so dark. I was in depression, anxiety. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to be in low vibrational spaces. I didn't want to speak to loads of people. I couldn't be in crowds because I was terrified that I would absorb all this energy and I would just explode and just go into a dark hole. And now I do this practice, and I can do anything now. Like I can go to a restaurant, and really I couldn't for a long time. I couldn't be in crowds, I couldn't be in restaurants, I couldn't do so much, and my world became so limited because of the fear of feeling bad. And now I'm like, no, I'm empowered by my energy through these practices. And again, the words that you use, you direct the energy and you affirm that. So now, yeah, every time I go out, I say, may I only receive this energy, may this be transmuted, and asking my spirit guides and my angels to protect me as well. And
Wow.
we've got a question in the, oh yes, this is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we also have few comments or questions in the chat, but I also wanted to ask you probably my last question. How would you go about dealing with hard people? With, for example, if by life circumstances you have to deal with a hard person, with a person who is too very tough, very blocked, you know, and negative, and you have to spend some time with this person either in the office or in your home or somewhere else, how would you go about that, not to let them affect you negatively, but rather keep your energies high and maybe even affect them in a positive way?
Yeah. So so I my with my belief, I believe that everyone who is experiencing that level of emotion has probably been through something themselves, which means that they're like that. So from a very human emotional level, the first thing is to realize that they're in their own suffering, and that's why they behave like that. And when you do that and you see it like that, it switches your perception into compassion. So instantly there's more love and less defensiveness. And then also, I am in the belief that people are mirrors for us. So if someone's coming to me with aggressive behavior, they're showing me a part of myself, maybe that I haven't healed or that I need to confront. So when they come with that energy towards me, I think, how can I accept this as a part of myself? What are they showing me in me that I need to accept? Because if I'm not accepting that in myself, then I'm going to reject it in them. They're an angry, horrible person, and I don't want to be around them. And there's a part of me, I have an anger in me and I have a horrible part in me that I can't accept. And that's just not the way that I want to live. I want to accept all parts of myself because I believe that that is what wholeness is. It's accepting every single part of us. And that can feel weird because, oh, but what if I have this horrible, all of it, all of it. So when a person like that comes into my life, and honestly, as I've raised my own vibration, I have basically no one in my life like that. And I think it's because, again, I don't have many mirrors like that. But I was recently in a relationship with someone who was reflecting back parts of me that I didn't want to see. And I've detached from that relationship, but it's given me the knowledge now to see parts of myself that I haven't healed. So I'm grateful for that. But okay, so I'm not blaming him, but say in a moment someone comes to you and they're in this anger state and you want to switch into love. So and the processes aren't there. What I would do is, or what I do now, it's really interesting as I've done more and more of this, is I become fluid and allow the energy to move through me. So once I had anger directed towards me through my sister, and she was actually drinking. So she was in that state already of not in her right mind. And she directed anger towards me. And I felt the anger, I felt my crown chakra opening, and I could literally feel the energy leaving my body, and I could feel the light coming in. And I was just like aware that I am literally allowing this to move through my body right now. I'm not absorbing any of this. This is not mine. This is not hers. This is neutral energy that wants to be seen and felt and released. And so I did not allow it to affect me. I allowed it to move through me with the knowledge that it's just going to move through me. And so now whenever anger is directed towards me, because I do get anger directed towards me sometimes, like I had with this person I was in a relationship with recently, and I let the anger move through me. Okay, that's their anger. And then if you want to, again, this is your choice, because you have the right. Do you want to bless that person, or do you want your energy to stay with you? But sometimes I bless people. So I imagine that there's light pouring down their heads into their hearts and relaxing their bodies. And visualization is very powerful. It's also manipulating the energy around you. So I had a woman in London once. She directed a lot of very negative energy towards me, and it really hurt my heart. But I went away, I got my angels involved, I got her angels involved, and I was doing all this healing, and I was directing so much love towards her. And from a place of pure love, I was like, she is not a bad person whatsoever. And I do think it's just the healing you do with yourself means that you can have that compassion for people. And those difficult people, it becomes easier to deal with them intuitively. It's a long
Wow.
answer, but I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so, and another aspect of that, so how would you go about if a person got exposed to negative news from media, like even if they didn't want to do that, or let's say they got sucked into reading different negative comments on social media, different bad news and stuff like that, and then when you get out of that, you're kind of drunk, you know, you cannot think clearly, it kind of overwhelms you. So how can we utilize those positive energies in order to deal with this kind of overwhelming situation when we cannot even think clearly at that moment because of all this impact?
Yeah, well, that's nice. Someone said they use the Ho'oponopono. Yeah, so that's the Hawaiian prayer of forgiveness and love. But I think it comes down to what the individual uses to release energy. So if you're someone who likes to be active, maybe it's going for a run and getting out of your head and knowing and trusting the energy is going to be released from your body. Or if you are someone who likes to do mantra chanting or meditation, something to release the anxiety is really what you're looking for. And that can come in so many different ways. So for me now, if I receive that information, I'll first of all clear my energy field, because I'm aware that I'm an energy being, and I feel like, and this is the thing as well, not everyone will be related to the energy world because they don't feel the energy, but I feel my electromagnetic field. So the first thing is I get Palo Santo or sage, and I say out loud, I'm now releasing any low vibrational energy that I have experienced through this news article, through social media, through that person. I am now releasing this up into the live creation, anything that no longer serves me. And I'm allowing that to be released, and I feel that letting go. Or I will go outside and put my bare feet on the earth, and I ask the earth, please release any lower negative energy that is not mine, that does not belong to me, that I received from the media, from the news. And I call it, I say from the 3D matrix system. And again, I don't want to say 3D, but it is a matrix system. And the news and so much of this negative information, it's coming from the same place of keeping us in fear and a lower vibration. So when you're coming out of that into the higher dimensions of love, you're saying, I'm releasing myself from all of the matrix energies that want to keep me in this fear. So that's what I do. But at the end of the day, whatever practices you use for releasing your anxiety, I would say just go for that, because rumination leads to depression and anxiety. But when we can stop ruminating, and there's studies that are done, being out in nature massively decreases rumination, and rumination is linked to depression, like a direct link. But being out in nature, walking for even just half an hour, it stops your mind from ruminating. So just all of these powerful practices. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, great, Mika. So now let's go to the chat. Would you like to read those questions or comments yourself, or would you like me to read them?
I mean, I don't mind. I see that Sunita has a hand up.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, cool.
Hi, Arik, and hi, Mika.
Hello.
I love the talk today because I'm so, I'm an Indian, so I understood where you're coming from, because you've learned a lot about the Ayurveda as well as the Kalima, and you understand, because Indians generally are very spiritual people, so you come from that space. And I've done Akashic records. I know what they are. I've done one sitting with an Akashic record just about 2 months ago. 2 months ago, yeah, in October, and in December actually, and I found that really, really an eye-opener. I mean, I'd never heard of it before. I was a bit skeptical and I was a bit scared because I'd heard so much about it. I didn't really go fully prepared, so I was like, I don't, because they actually tell you you're talking to you, really, your
Yeah.
higher self.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't fathom that in my head, and I was like, oh, what does that mean? What exactly? Yeah, why am I talking to myself? But by the time you get an hour, and by the time you actually get into the phase of things, your hour is up. So it was a mind-boggling experience. But I just want to know how soon can you see results from a session like that? And what if you still have more questions? Should you, because they say you should not be opening your Akashic records for no reason. I mean, you've done it once and you really shouldn't be opening it again or something like that. Is that the case? Is there a way that one can still open it and still get answers, or maybe um, uh, how what is the next step for that? And secondly, I wanted to know about the malevolent energies, because you said you speak to your spirit guides.
Mhm.
How do you know that the spirit guides are pure energy, positive energy, and not malevolent? Because there was a guy who came here, an English guy, and he was using energies. And that energy, I literally saw. I don't know what it was, whether it was a Ouija board, but it was some kind of a board. And that energy that we were 8 of us was all over the place, and it wasn't a very nice experience. And I never wanted to ever do that again. First of all, I don't like playing with energies because I just think you shouldn't be disturbing them. That's just my understanding and my belief of it, because I also do a lot of energy healing myself. Like I've learned theta, access bars, all that kind of thing, Reiki, and so on and so forth. But I'd like your take on these two aspects of how
Yeah.
do you handle it. And I also love the way you cleared your energy, because that's one thing I wanted to know. When you clear your energy, do you do this clearing in the beginning and at the end, every time you meet a client, or you start the day with it, or irrespective of
Yeah.
whether you meet a client or not? Or
Yeah, throughout the day. So before I'm meeting a client, after I meet a client, before I leave the house, when I get home, all day really. And it's something that I practiced and realized how important, like when you realize the importance and you see the difference, it just becomes like a habit. And it's funny because for a while I would forget on my way out of the house, and I would always get reminded because I see energy as well. So sometimes a dark shadow would come out of someone's car, or I would run into something and it would show me that something was out of alignment, and then I would do the clearing. So yeah, now it's a constant for me. Yeah.
you don't just feel it, but you also see it.
Yeah, I see it. I see energy. So I see energies like around people, and even around TV programs and actors. I see shadows and light coming off of their bodies.
My goodness.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Yeah, and I've been told by my own guides that I was ready for it, because if it happens too early and your third eye opens when you're not ready for that, it can be very scary. And yeah, it was and it's been a journey learning how to understand these energies. But so I want to answer your first question first of all about the Akashic records.
Yep.
Yeah, so I didn't really know that I was doing the Akashic Records reading for a long time. I realized that's what I was doing later on, because my abilities came to me after I had a Kundalini awakening. And so I began to navigate without really knowing any of the rules. And what I would say in terms of accessing your records is, for me, I've accessed mine maybe hundreds or thousands of times. And I think the repetition is actually really helpful. Obviously, you need to know how to open and close the field. But again, I think that everything is intention. So when I close down the field, I ask my guides to seal any negative portals that I've opened up, to ask Mother Gaia energy to ground me, so that I'm not open in any way when I'm opening the field. And so I can open and close the field as I please, because I'm not staying open. Whereas I used to open the field and then not close, and that's really when the issues happen. And this is the issues so many people don't respect the energy world. So we open up our field to all this stuff, like people do Ouija boards, and you open yourself up to all these energies that want to be heard, and you attract them towards you, and you don't close your field. And then you get these signs from spirit, you get these unlucky things happening because you don't know what you let in. So I think it's having that respect and reverence for the unseen world that allows you to go in and out with ease. So in terms of seeing results with the Akashic records, I guess it depends on the answers that you receive. But for a lot of people that I work with, really, they're like, after one session, they're like, I don't know what else I want to know now. And I receive that clarity. And I guess for me, that's like, I need to change my business model to some extent, because people then are like, okay, that was so amazing, but I'm good now. And I'm like, oh, well, I need some continuity. And I get them with some clients, but mostly it's just like one-offs, which I'd rather have more of a rapport with. But with myself, yeah, I've been in the Akashic records so many times for myself, because there's so much to know. Like, there could be one life that gives me a lot of answers, and then I sit with those answers for a while, and then I have more questions, because we always have more stuff we want to know about when we learn more about something that we were blocked with. So I really think it's a personal journey, and I don't know anything about not going into the records too many times. But again, I've entered this world with not very many rules, but just a lot of intuition and trial and error, which in some ways has led me to darker times. But the way I practice now is very safe, and I feel very, very confident.
Where did you learn Akashic record reading, if I may ask?
My soul taught me. I just realized,
okay.
yeah, I fully realized it myself. Yeah, it's a gift. I had a Kundalini awakening, and then I realized I could do trance channeling. And then when I went home for Christmas in 2020, my sister was asking me to channel for her about everything, and I didn't know what I was doing. So I was just like asking this person's higher self for answers, asking this, asking that, learning about our past lives, and not knowing what I was doing. It was like a child that just doesn't know. And I look after a 10-year-old girl who is also a trance channeler, and she just knows how to do it. She's just born with a gift, and she can enter past lives. She has memories from her past lives. She knows how to access my past lives. She gets visions of the future. She knows how to astrally project, and no one taught her. It's this really deep, like this, it's these waves of souls coming to earth now going, we don't need an external source of learning. Our souls records have the knowledge, and the more we wake up to our soul's intelligence, the more of our power returns to us. So I just learned through practice with myself. And
okay, that's brilliant. And how long have you been in practice doing this healing on the whole?
So now it's been about 2 years. So since my Kundalini awakening, it's been a very fast track journey. Before that, I was meditating, but I was nowhere near as sensitive to anything as I am now. And it's been a journey of up leveling and clearing to gain the knowledge and the skills. And when I had my Kundalini awakening, I ended up spending a lot of time with the person who healed me. And so I learned so much in a very short space of time, and then did other courses and this and that, and doing a lot of work with myself. But yeah. So I'm excited. Like, it's only been 2 years.
So what other healing do you do, Micah? I mean, you mentioned you the three that you mentioned, but is there other besides that you're learning and you've learned?
Well, the woman who I was working with when I had my Kundalini awakening, she was a theta healer and a past life regression therapist. So I was doing that, but I felt for some reason like I didn't want to offer energy healings to people. I don't know why, but it just didn't feel in alignment for me to do energy healing. Like, I feel like my work is healing in itself, but because I never really got the depth understanding, she just taught me ways of doing it, and I would practice on people and it would work. I was just like, I don't feel as comfortable doing this as with the other stuff. But yeah, so past life regression and theta healing, like what you were doing, theta healing.
Yeah, I just did DNA 1, DNA 2 and manifestation. I didn't do the intuitive and all that kind of thing. So I've still done only level 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what about the energies? How do you identify, and how do you ensure that the first time that you ever did it, that you got the right? Is there a way, or?
So so I see my spirit guides when I go into trance, and I recognize now that I've been seeing them all my life. I just didn't know that they were them. So from a very young age, I was experiencing astral experiences and meeting these blue beings, and not knowing what they were, but feeling very safe in their presence. And I've had experiences, psychedelic experiences, where I'm fully with them on a ship, experiencing Earth from their perspective. And when I woke up, I began to get into dialogue with them over time, and I'd have to sit down and trace back the journey. But what I have noticed with understanding energies, and my guides have taught me this as well, is when you're in your heart. So I had a time in March in 2020 or 2021 where I was in a deep fear state. All of a sudden, I was terrified of my gift and my skills, and I felt like I was going crazy. And my guides told me they'd switched off my ability to see, and I wasn't going to be able to channel for a little while because they knew that I needed to be more grounded in earth. And so I'm in a constant dialogue with them. And the way that I know that they aren't bad or malevolent is, first of all, I say out loud, I am now connecting with my guides, beings of the highest light resonance. And again, you clear the space when you say that. I do not allow, and I said this for ages as well, I do not allow any malevolent spirits, any lower level vibrational energies to enter the space. And I say this before I go to sleep. Before I go to sleep, I clear my room, and I say, sometimes I feel that the energy is more dense. Like I feel that there are spirits in the room that are not there for the highest intentions, because again, they want to be recognized and listened to. So I say, any beings of a low vibration, any malevolent spirits that are not aligned with my highest light vibration, need to leave the room now. And they have to. But with my guides, I say I'm only connecting to beings of the highest light vibration. And even today I was channeling, and I got a little bit like, oh, that voice sounds a bit weird. So then my guides say, just go into your heart. And I think my relationship with my body is so strong that I can go very quickly into my heart, and I feel this is love. And
so you also do chakra balancing as well at the same time?
So I don't do chakra balancing, but in my coaching, I do chakra reading. So I'll go through and I enter the trance state, and I read the energy body and the chakra system, but I don't necessarily do chakra balancing. It's something I was doing for a little while, but again, there's something in me that's like, I want to understand the depth work of this and not do it so much through other means. I think I am someone who does like to know as well as to feel. And with chakra balancing, I know how to do it intuitively, but I've never really gone into it. So it's not something I offer.
So how would you remove a negative block from somebody? When somebody comes to you and says, look, there's something happening in my life that's just not working out, everything's just going haywire. Would you then do which treatment would you do? The energy reading first, or would you do the Akashic records, or would you mix the two? Or
so if people come to me with that, mostly we do Akashic records, and I'll say, let's go back into where this is coming from, and let's look at the possible options for you to release this and to move through this. So as opposed to saying, I will remove it, I will give them a roadmap. So I'll then go, okay, this is suggesting that you go to this kind of healer, or you have Reiki of some kind. So as opposed to saying I will release it, it's more, let me help you to discover why it's there and how it can be released, as opposed to doing the release.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
No
Very
worries.
interesting. Very interesting. Okay, guys, do you have any more questions before we wrap it up? If you do, you can just unmute yourself and ask directly.
Hello. Excuse my ignorance, but I don't understand, what is Akashic records? What is it?
Yeah. No, that's absolutely fine. Most people don't know what it is. My mom was asking me the other day, and honestly, it's so interesting when your soul knows something. Because I was looking up without even ever hearing about it, what the Akashic records were when I was 12 years old, and I didn't know why, and I didn't even know how I found it. But so the Akashic records is a etheric space, and it's like a big book. If you want to put it in a visual sense, it's a big book, and it's got all the events that ever occurred in the universe or will occur. And so it's quite out there. A lot of people will go to me, you're crazy, and that's okay. It's a library. Yeah, it's a library, not a book. It's a library with all of the events that have taken place or will take place in that space. And so if you want to know why is something happening to me, a lot of the time it's something that you can access when you go into the Akashic records. Like I go in and I'm taken back to a memory of my childhood that I forgot. And I'm shown this is why you're experiencing this trauma. And something about reliving the experience helps me to deal with the trauma. And they say this in past life regressions. So I've had past life regression therapy done on me before. And it's something maybe in the future I'd like to learn to do for others myself. And I'm sure I would be able to, but it could be good to get the depth knowledge. When you re-experience the trauma from a memory, it allows your body to heal from it. And I definitely feel that with the Akashic records. When I go in and I see this pain from my childhood and I cry and I feel the pain, it helps me to release it and to deal with my life now more fluidly. Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully that clears it up. I don't know. It's quite does that make more sense to you now?
What is it like? Is that like what you see it, you feel it, you
Yeah. So I enter the trance state very easily, and from there I'm seeing images coming towards me, and I also hear things. But when I go into people's Akashic records, I say, which way do you want to go? Because you can go anywhere. And I get the weirdest images sometimes. But I say, you can go anywhere. Where would you like to go? And then it's like we're in a spaceship and I'm guiding the ship. And then we go, okay, we're going here. And then just like the image comes, like it's like the image changes, it shows me something else. And it will show me a memory, a story. I also get sounds, I'm being told stuff, and that's when the spirit guides are working with me. They're telling me what I am seeing, and they're interpreting as well. But yeah, it's I'll when my website's up, I have some art for the Akashic records, and if you look it up, the Akashic records art, people really get it spot on. It feels like this psychedelic, geometric kind of experience.
so you can connect with your own experiences from the past, and you can help other people connect with heal their past traumas.
Yeah,
Is that's what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is. And what they also, why again, the Akashic records as well is advice. Like I had one friend who's really having a hard time right now, and she asked me a question, and then a lot of the messages come in symbolic images. So I saw a duck in the middle of a vast ocean, but then because of my experience going into the field, I know how to read the images. So what I was saying was it's the message we were getting was your soul is in this vast space, and it's almost like it's floating, and it's very, very far away from itself. And then the message that came through was you need a soul retrieval healing, because the parts of you that you want are scattered everywhere, and there's the core is very far away from the other parts. So the images can be very symbolic, or like I saw someone shoot, like I see images of like shooting specific animals, and it's about their relationship with someone else, and it's like you represent this animal, they represent this, and they're trying to kill your innocence or your joy or something. And like what Sunita said, because it's showing you to yourself, it's showing you the information that resonates with you. So when I leave the records, I forget a lot of the images that I see, but you remember them because they are helping you to guide your soul on this journey. So you'll see something and you'll go, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Whereas my ego, which is still sitting in the back there somewhere, is like, what does this mean? But it's not for my mind to interpret.
Oh, I understand that. You remember the things that you understand the things that are relevant for you.
Yeah. Like I can still, it's really interesting because in the trance state, I can still speak like we are now, but it's like I can't open my eyes because when I do this, it's too much. I can open my eyes, but it's like I just drink some water and close them again. But so it's like I'm in between. I've got the trance state, and then there's still like I'm like switching between the theta and the beta brain waves quite easily. So it's quite fascinating to me as well. And I know in the future people will be more interested in this in the scientific sense, and they're already doing it with some channelers. They put electrodes on their brain to see what's going on. And so in the future, when science is more open to this stuff, I would love to see how does this work, because this is a reality. I want to know what's going on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Okay, cool. Okay, guys, do you have any more questions or we are gonna wrap it up? If you don't have any more questions, just unmute yourself and ask directly. And if not, then
Maybe can I ask something? Like
sure.
if you want to connect with yourself, it's like you go into a trance mode, and you try, and images will come. I mean, can everyone do it?
I think everyone should. I think that it should be something accessible to everyone. Yeah. And I think maybe part of my journey will be helping to activate that for people, because we are all aspects of the universe. So I don't see why we shouldn't all have access to this information. I just think that it could be overwhelming if people had that information and they weren't ready to experience it. So because it is vast what you can see, and I think that the more compassion and love I have for others, the easier it's become for me to access as well, because you see things that you wouldn't maybe want to see, but you're not judging that person. But if you have judgment in you, or that something that makes them a bad person, then seeing that will harm and affect your body. And it wouldn't be like, I think the more energetically clear I've become and the more of a clear channel I've become, the more I can receive the energy and let it go, and receive and let it go. So I think it comes down to like the self-love practices and understanding energy, which means that I can access the information and not get affected by it. Yeah.
Okay, so if we, the cleaner we are, we also have everyone has some capacity to connect with a higher self or higher wisdom, or
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think so. That's been my personal experience 100%. And really, the more love we have for ourselves and others, the easier it becomes to help people with their trauma, because they know, they can feel on a subtle level that you're not judging them. So they know that you can help. Yeah.
Micah, can I ask, is there a time when you cannot open someone's records? Because I remember a friend of mine wanted her records opened, and when she went to the same healer I went to, she did an online. She didn't do a physical one. She didn't. The lady told her, I cannot open your records today, and she was like in tears. And she said, why? I mean, I wanted to open. I want answers now. And she said, but it cannot be opened today. So by the time she actually got her to come again, it was already like a week. And I was thinking, is there reasons why your records won't be open? I mean, it's your record, right? So it should be available to you 24/7.
So I've had some experiences where my guides or their guides tell me now's not the time for that session, or now's not the time for that healing. And I think it's just down to divine timing. Like the universe knows when you're ready to receive something that's going to shift you. And if you're not ready, then it could harm you. So because like, you know, it's an intense experience, and if you're not feeling grounded one day, like I was ages ago, I had a client who then came back for channeling, and the first time I could feel her energy was anxious, and I said, we shouldn't channel, we should do a meditation. And she was like, yeah, I don't think I was ready for that experience. And then later down the line, like 3 months later, she was ready for channeling, and she was like, now I'm ready because I'm much more grounded. And I think that before it would have been too much for me.
Right, right. Okay, so it is normal. I mean that it's not like, I mean, she's a bad person or something that the reports couldn't be opened. It's just that maybe you're saying it wasn't the right time for her to listen to that hearing, or clearing, because a lot of that she was asking was about her husband, because he was having an affair, and she wanted to ask questions on that, so she was very anxious. And
Yes.
that, I think, that anxiety that she brought to the table stopped the healer from was telling her, this is not the right time, because you need to calm down. We will get you answers, but not right now. So it took almost a week before she was called back, and she finally did her reading and got her answers. She was not happy with her answers, by the way. It's not like sometimes that you're always happy with the answer.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think
yeah, go ahead.
No, continue, go for it.
So basically, I do recall that the Akashic records, there isn't necessarily something you will always be pleasant. It could be something that's a reality check, and it could be something that is very, is great, because I remember when she told me certain things, she was like, you really should focus on this. You'll be excellent at that. And I was like, what, really? Because I never even thought of that. And I was like, what? It can't be. And she was saying, it is. Don't question it. It is. So I was like, but how can it be? I mean, so good things that seem incredible and unheard of, I would never even have thought it. But at the same time, there could be this thing where there's, where she experiences uncertainty, and not finding the answer that she was ready for the answer that she was looking for when it came to her husband. So, there could be both ways.
Yeah, and what I've seen with Akashic Records is sometimes we are resistant to the truth. Like I did a reading a couple of weeks ago, and there was a lot of resistance to what was coming through. And you don't even need to be a healer to see the like, you don't need to read the Akashic Records to kind of see the resistance in her to the truth anyways. But there was a lot of resistance to that information. But what I find is that if the healer is coming from a place of love, and they're accessing the records, which really is, it's a healing energy that you bring through, then I would always trust for the person who's come to me, whether they feel they've been healed or not, that they receive the information that's going to guide them. And maybe later down the line, they'll go, oh, that makes sense now, because it's objective and it's not biased in any way. And so if she didn't resonate with it, then maybe it's because a part of her doesn't want to believe something, or doesn't want to, like what you were saying, you were like, wait, what? I'm going to do that. But maybe she was like, I don't want to believe that. That's not nice. And of course, knowing the truth isn't always nice, but you know, when you ask for that, it comes through however it wants to come through. But yeah,
but she doesn't know what's going to happen. I mean, some of the things are in the future. You don't really know. I mean, you can only imagine it might happen, because you don't know any better. And it's just that thought that, do you steer? My question is, some of the things she told me, do I gear now towards that path, or will it just happen on its own? How does that work?
So we have free will. So the way I see it is, there are infinite possibilities in the future, and we are the ones that will choose one of them. So we can either decide to align with the future that we want based on what someone else has told us, or she can go the opposite direction. Like, we're blessed with free will. And so she can make her mind up. And that's why with future readings, I'm like, yeah, I can tell you, but you have the power. This is what it's saying right now, and this is a possibility, but you can change it. So I think that people should, because my mum was talking about seeing a clairvoyant years ago, and them saying, oh, you're going to have a bad relationship with one of your children, and her saying, oh, this negative information, it's not great, whatever. I'm like, yeah, but it's not objective. It's just what she saw, and you have the power to change that. So maybe you can see the future, if you don't like it, as a warning, and then you can gear yourself to the way you'd like your life to be. Like my mum will then really work on establishing positive, uplifting relationships with her children and not being neglecting of that or whatever it is.
Also, you're saying you can change it. It is possible to change. It doesn't have to be carved in stone or something like that. It's yeah.
100%, 100%. We have the free will. Yeah.
To change your destiny, kind of thing.
Definitely. Yeah. It's
oh,
like
wonderful.
Yeah, because it all falls in on each other as time. Like it's a very deep, beautiful topic of time being infinite anyways. But in this now moment, we continue to carve. You know, it's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, it's a whole nother, it's a beautiful conversation. I would love to speak about this, but you know, timing wise and everything, it's not the most timely conversation to have. But yes, you can change it. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No worries. No worries.
Okay, guys. So I think we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Micah. It was really an enlightening talk. And I think that our viewers will benefit a lot from that. Lots of practical tools, practical applications. And we will also put your contact details below this video. So guys, please don't hesitate to contact Micah if you like the talk. And if you feel that she might be able to help you. Yeah, and thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for everything you're doing with this beautiful group of wonderful people on this healing journey. I'm so grateful to found this group. And I found this group because of my own trauma. Like I found it through Tuche when I was in my emotional eating. So it's just so beautiful. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, guys.
Bye,
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.